Hello, everyone. Welcome to an all-new episode of the LoudCasa Talks. My name is Nate, and alongside is my good buddy Omid.
Hey, what's up, Loud Crown and Casa Crew? How y'all doing? And I hope you all are excited for Memorial Day weekend. You know, spending a good amount of time celebrating Memorial Day, and also, especially for reasons we're going to talk about on Monday.
Oh, that's for sure. So yeah, Memorial Day weekend is coming up. Looks like you're already set for Memorial Day weekend. How you doing? For what are you gonna be planning up for Memorial Day?
Well, a friend of mine is going to be coming over to visit tomorrow. It's always nice to have more reunions with more of my friends. After we get vaccinated, it's just such a good feeling because it's like after over years sacrifice, we're finally getting together, man.
Oh, I mean, for sure. I mean, I don't know about your friend. Didn't he like move off like to some other state somewhere?
Um, he did move to Florida. He stayed in Florida for a bit, but then he's moving back to California.
Oh, that sounds good. By the way, Memorial Day weekend, we always go to a convention, but since conventions are currently closed right now, we're doing a virtual convention. But I think you're going to be having a fun time over that quote unquote convention, right, Omid?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'll be having so much fun at Fanime.
Our go-to convention every Memorial Day weekend is going to Fanime, but unfortunately, these last 2 years we couldn't be able to actually attend it because of the whole pandemic, pretty much closing it all down. This is actually going to be my first year not attending virtual Fanime or anything like that, because I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be visiting I got to be visiting my sister, going to be visiting a couple friends up in Sacramento, pretty much 1 hour, 2 hours over. And, just have a blast this weekend. So yeah, I mean, things are opening up again, so I might as well just, have as much time as I can to, go out, have fun with people. And, it's been a good vacation here Memorial Day weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. Like, it's a little family reunion for you, huh?
Well, a little family reunion, but more like also friends reunion as well. Like I'm setting up Sunday just to hang out with people in Sacramento. My good friend Matt, he's going to be up there in Sac just to show me what the ropes are.
Oh, that's cool, man. Give me a tour.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Enough of the small talk here. Let's actually head over to our episode reviews and previews as we get ready for this Friday, as well as Memorial Day itself, because we got two new episodes of Loud House on Friday. We also do have specials coming out on Monday called Camped and Zoomergency. We have a lot, and today they dropped a lot of stuff for us, so we got to be talking about that for sure. But first off, we always go with the reviews first. So let's start it off with Director's Rut. The synopsis here. It's where Luann has pretty much been the director of the drama club, but unfortunately the members continue to change everything, and Mr. Coconuts took over as the director. So Omid, I didn't have an outline for this, by the way. So Omid, let's just start it off from there. Omid, how do you like Director's Rut? Explain your thoughts about Director's Rut.
Oh, I really loved it. And especially as a thespian myself, I've done a lot of theater throughout the years. Like, especially from the perspective of a thespian, I thoroughly enjoyed and appreciated this episode for what it was trying to do. Because it basically presented a conflict between different ideas, like the ideas from a director clashing with different ideas from these different actors. And the thing is that it's actually an interesting conflict because oftentimes when you're creating some sort of production, whether it be film or theater or just simply creating a script or a story, oftentimes you do see different ideas and different directions that they want to take with the characters and with the story. It happens a lot, and from personal experience, I definitely see how like sometimes
how
So
infuriating it could be for Luann, because the fact that, a lot of people continue to, try to mess up with her play. I mean, like, she set up this play, she won that contest, so it makes sense why Luann's kind of like out of place there, just trying to direct direct the actors and actresses, saying like, "Hey, stop doing this. I don't want to do this or that," but they're going to put it into the play. And you know what, Mrs. Bernardo actually needed to come in to talk to Luann and say, "Hey, what are you what are you doing? Stick it toward."
yeah, honestly, Mrs. Bernardo was like, Luann, what are you doing?
This is the one thing where I'm like, okay, Mrs. Bernardo actually is a significant player in this. Like, she could be that annoying person who always wants to run a one-woman show, but at the same time, she knows her theater works. And she's been that horse for Luann, just trying to get her off her rut and get her to be a director, which could be a future thing for Luann.
Exactly. And the thing is that it could be debatable whether Luann was in the wrong or the actors were in the wrong. Personally, I think the actors need to cool it, because at the end of the day, it's Luann's directed play. Like, it's her directorial debut. It's her vision. So the actors should know better to listen to her and not to mess with it too much.
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, that got too much to her. How did you feel about the fact that Mr. Coconuts took over?
Yeah, I really love what they did with Mr. Coconuts. On a side note, I really like Mr. Coconuts. I know, like I said, I know some people.
You said you didn't like him. You said you wanted him to. You said you wanted him to be bitten up by that. The one episode where what was it? Stella's bunny was like eating up Mr. Coconuts.
No. You're confusing me with Sunny. Okay, you're confusing me with Sunny. No, I was actually really pissed when Stella's bunny tore Mr. Coconuts.
Okay. I thought you said you're the one who actually didn't like Mr. Coconuts. My bad.
No, I didn't like Mr. Coconuts getting ripped to shreds, but
okay.
But anyway, I like what they did with Mr. Coconuts, because, like I said, Mr. Coconuts represents Luann's more aggressive, abrasive side that Luann herself wouldn't have shown. And I do like the contrast between Luann, how Luann deals with things in terms of her play, and Mr. Coconuts. Because with Mr. Coconuts, he's the exact opposite. Like, he's ruthless, he's stubborn, he shows no mercy. Like, he's the bad cop to Luann's good cop, in a sense.
I really thought that was just great to actually have Mr. Coconuts. It's kind of weird though, because like we were thinking that Mr. Coconuts was like its own person. I mean, Mr. Coconuts did have his like chances of like movement. I mean, you can see that in a stage flight where he actually moved by himself, and it was like, is he really a real person or something? But we know that Luann is pretty much controlling Mr. Coconut still. It's like so representative. It's like, wow, I believe Mr. Coconut is a real person. There's so many situations where I'm like, is Mr. Coconut really real, or is it really controlled by Luann? But I mean, from the episode, we already know that he's controlled by Luann.
Oh my god. Yeah, it'd be funny if like Mr. Coconuts actually did appear in real life. I want to see an episode, like another Loud House horror themed episode, in which Mr. Coconuts is actually real, actually comes to life, sort of like Pinocchio. And then like Luann has her own episode where she's like, wake me up, now we'll see who's dreaming.
Yeah, but here's the other thing too, that Mr. Coconut's like aggressive side, may have gotten the worst out of the actors. Like, the actors are like, I didn't like this play anymore, that's not fun anymore, so we decided to quit. And then, the next day you don't see all the actors anymore except for Benny, which I'm like, okay, this is cute that Benny's still supportive for his girlfriend Luann. And I'm like,
that's
okay,
what
this is cute. This is cute, actually. Just the fact that Benny's actually in this episode is just like, okay, the writers know that Benny and Luann are a thing, and they're actually putting them together in this episode.
Yeah, notice how it's just Benny that shows up after they all quit. When Luann shows up to the theater, it's just Benny. I'm just like, Luanny moment, yes, Luanny.
And you know what? We were thinking that Luanny was not gonna happen like anytime soon. Like, the last time we actually had a Luann and Benny moment would be like if the boss maybe was actually something, because Benny did appear only once throughout season 5, and now you get to see him actually like be in a play with Luann and being supportive for Luann, especially that moment there, because it tells me like, okay, they have not forgotten the ship. They at least, brought Luann and Benny together for like one scene, but that's still supportive for Benny and Luann to have a couple there.
Yeah, another thing too, if you look closely, is that like out of all the actors, Mr. Coconut, with Mr. Coconut, Benny's the only one who Mr. Coconut hasn't picked on, or at least not as much as the others. So that's when you know that if you look closely, you'll notice how pretty much like Mr. Coconut showed much more mercy towards Benny than any other actor. That's when you know Luann is end game.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's going to be. I mean, hopefully nothing bad happens to them, but I do think Luann and Benny are obviously a couple, and like possibly going to be like they're together forever. But yeah, how did you feel about the ending of the episode? Because it seems that Luann had to come over there just to say, "Hey, I'm sorry I've been so aggressive," or that Mr. Coconuts was aggressive to you guys. But it's my play. I wanted to run the way I want to do it, and then the actors also agreed upon them too. So it would say like it was a very forgiving moment there, and then of course the play runs properly, like what Luann was thinking about.
Yeah, honestly, I really love this moment because I like the way that the apology was handled from both sides. Luann does apologize to the actors for using Mr. Coconuts and going all aggressive. Using Mr. Coconuts. I like how Luann learns to not rely on Mr. Coconuts nearly as much as she did, because let's be honest, in this episode and the past episodes, like Luann has relied on Mr. Coconuts just a bit too much. If you really do look at the episodes closely, the series closely, you'll notice how Luann uses Mr. Coconuts too much. I think that this is a stepping stone for her in terms of her learning to, not rely on Mr. Coconuts too much. And also it's her learning to express how she feels herself.
You know what though? I really hope we have an episode where like Luann would actually take out the puppet. Like, you always have the puppet. She always has the puppet with him. I believe Mr. Coconuts is ready to actually like get out of Luann's hand. It's just like, Luann, I think it's about time for you to actually like let go of the puppet. We could have a preview of like our Luann episode coming up in 2 weeks. We're probably going to say something about what will Luann do in the future. I believe coming up soon is when Luann will actually take off the puppet. It's like, you don't really need the puppet anymore. You really need to show your aggressive side instead of actually just reflecting it on the puppet. So hopefully that happens. And yeah, you're right, Omid. It's like a stepping stone for Luann to step up her game instead of just, being all nice and stuff like that. She has to actually be aggressive and actually be authoritative, especially in a role like this when you're a director for a big play. So, yeah, that's my thoughts about that. I think, Mr. Coconuts will probably still be there for a while, but, sooner or later, I believe Mr. Coconuts is about to be, I can't say like, I can't say firewood, but at the same time, it's like, he's going to probably be like stowed away in Luann's closet.
And to be fair, there were times where Luann has been aggressive herself. There were times where Luann has acted out, herself. For example, the April Fool's series, of course, and also Feast or Family when she got like red mad at Lynn Sr., her dad.
Yeah. But the other thing too is like she's still, pretty shy about it. Like the fact in that episode is where Luann is saying like we'll just run with it, but eventually she will like burst and say like I don't want to run the restaurant or anything like that. See, I mean like she's playing along, but at the same time she has to show her aggressive side eventually. I think like eventually she'll probably pop up. She'll probably have an episode where she actually has to like say I have to be more authoritative. I can't just like let things be going on with me or anything like that.
And speaking of learning lessons, I like how the actors learn a lesson themselves too, which honestly, I think that it's an important lesson for them to learn as well, because, they're not innocent in this. They've been screwing up with Luann's play like way too much. And as a thespian myself, I know that, even if you do have great ideas, it's good to present it to your director, but don't change it up way too much. I mean, it's the director's vision, for God's sake. So I do like that they learned a lesson too.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like I said, it ran out to be an awesome play. Like Luann was directing it to be. All right. Anything else you want to put up in this episode before we put our ratings?
Yes, honestly, like I said, I really love that we do get to see more of Luann's theater life, Luann's theater friends, especially Benny. Luann and Benny, let's go!
I think Omid is like to every ship now.
Yes, I'm the ship master, the ship man.
Look, we already have Luann. We have Luanny. We have Seluna. We have Lobby. Now where's Ronikin? Come on, I'm waiting for that confirmation to happen.
I'm sailing all these ships like all the.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I swear, I really hope that we actually get like a. Well, I mean, to say the least, I mean, we could look back at the new summer comic and say like maybe there's a lot more Ronikin moments there. I swear to God, the cartoon needs to have it eventually.
I know, right? Like I noticed how like the comics do ship Ronikin more than the series itself.
I know. I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are you the cartoon? You take it.
I know, seriously.
They don't want to reflect love as much in the show compared to the comics. That's what I'm assuming. I mean, there's nothing else I could say about Director's Rut. I think this is a more stepping stone for Luann to be aggressive. And I believe that we're going to have an episode where, like I said, Mr. Coconut is about to leave Luann's hand. Luann is probably going to let go of the puppet eventually. I mean, I get it. Like, Mr. Coconut has been there for years with him. But eventually, when you grow up, you got to do your own comedy. You can't really go with the puppet for a whole time unless you're like one of those like Las Vegas people that love the puppets and actually run with it, in their shows. So, or
unless you're Jim Henson, who's been doing the Muppets too. That too.
No, that's true. That's true. It can be a puppeteer like that, like those guys.
Unless you're a puppeteer, which I would imagine Luann is a puppeteer type. So,
well, she has a lot of big roles. She has like a lot of big roles that can happen to her: comedian, director, a lot of other things. By the way, this is going to be like a future talk with Luann Loud coming up. So
yes, a little sneak peek.
Yeah. All right. So now, what is your rating on this episode?
Honestly, I give it a 9 out of 10. Like I said, I really love seeing Luann's theater life, especially as a thespian myself. Like, I especially appreciate seeing Luann and her theater life, her theater friends. And I also loved the conflict between, the director's vision and the actor's visions. And also how it's a good cop, bad cop sort of direction that they take with Luann being a director, with her relying on Mr. Coconuts. And I love the important lessons that both Luann and the actors learn in the end.
I have to say that too. I actually was really surprised about this episode. I thought it was just gonna be a regular 8, but I believe throughout this episode, this is really a reflective point for Luann. I love the Luanny episode. I mean, I love the Luanny little part there where they work together. And yeah, I would say a good Luann episode. Not much to say besides that. Really hoping that Luann can actually become a director sometime in a play or in a movie somehow. But it just feels like Luann is going through the right steps of going into theater. And with that in mind, I have to say, I give it a 9 out of 10. So no doubt about it. I think this is one of like Luann's best episodes. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man! I agree.
All right, so let's head over to the other episode that also aired on Friday. It's called Friday Night Fights. In this epised, Lisa joins Lynn's football team as the athletics coach to prove that math will always beat out heart. We don't have a outline for this. Also, we don't have an outline for tonight. Anyways, let's just go straight to it. Omid, how did you feel about this episode? Like, give me your thoughts. Give me like any things you want to point out in this episode.
I really like this episode because for the longest time, I have wanted to see a Lynn and Lisa bonding episode because honestly, this is pretty much a duo in which they could be unstoppable. Because think about it. You got Lynn, who has the most bronze out of all the Loud siblings, while you got Lisa, who has the most brains out of the Loud siblings. So honestly, when you combine them together, like they are quite a match, like a perfect match.
Wait, who? Lisa and Lynn, right?
Lisa and Lynn.
Uh-huh. I'm kind of surprised about this episode. I was like going like throughout the episode, yeah, Lynn, was having a tough time with her football team, and she needed some help. So what kind of happened was that Lisa was the coach, and look, they were still in a losing streak. Like, yeah, Lisa helped out by putting up some plays that actually gets you touchdowns. You were down by 4 points in the last game, but what happened throughout the episode was that she made a lot of drastic changes, and Lisa, I mean, yeah, I get it. She's like the analytics coach. She wants to get like people that are better to run the team. But you're trading so many of Lynn's best friends. Like you traded Paula, you traded Maddie, you traded Margot. Why would you do that?
How could you not? Paula, why would you trade Paula? What is wrong with you, Lisa? No one
she's disabled too. She had a broken leg.
Come on. Like, I see what I mean, also, yeah, you shouldn't have traded Margot. You shouldn't have traded Margot. But my God, when you trade Paul, it's unforgivable.
No, when you trade all of Lynn's friends, I'm like, you pretty much broken up the squad. I'm like, dude, Lynn has her squad. When you break up the squad, Lynn is pretty much like in a room with nobodies. So it's like, yeah, Lynn is going to get all bad.
Yeah, seriously. Like, what were you expecting, Lisa? Like, were you really expecting Lynn to just roll with it after you traded like most of her friends? Come on.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like so surprised. I'm like, yeah, Lisa, I understand it's all about math and stuff like that, but Lisa, you can't just break up the team like that. And that's what the point is all about. Like, yeah, it's all about analytics compared to heart. There's a reason why that Lisa did these moves, but that was just obviously the next game when they were blown out, but it was like, oh wow, why would you take away these three? Because I love these three, and Paula is, awesome, even if she has a broken leg and all. I really hated that moment where she like took her clothes and she said that I was traded. I'm like, wait, you really can trade junior hires in a league like that?
Apparently so.
Yeah, apparently it's this NFL. Probably went to Hazeltucky or something like that. Now, one of the biggest moments was the fact that Lynn obviously hated the idea that she got brand new teammates and the teammates are not really working with her, and in the end, Lynn actually fired Lisa. And what was crazy is that Lisa actually showed emotion. Like she was tearing up throughout that moment. I'm like, whoa! I didn't know about this. I didn't expect Lisa to actually cry like that. What explain your thoughts on in this moment here?
Yeah, honestly, this is Lisa at her most depressed. Like, oh my God. Like, of course, there are times where Lynn has cried before, but the thing is, with her moments like 11 Lots Leaving, for example, those are used for comedic effect. This here feels real, and I mean legit heartbreakingly real. Down to the tears, and then down to the scene where Lisa was sort of like quote unquote drunk. Like they were
not drunk. It's more like she's like how do you say this?
Quote drunk. Quote
okay,
drunk.
Yeah.
She looked like it. What they were trying to do
it just kind of feels like she's like down to the dumps. It's like, yeah, I felt like rejected, or I felt so defeated. It's the first time I ever see Lisa like that.
What they were trying to do is that they were trying to parody some sort of like sports movie cliche in which whenever a coach loses, or whenever a coach is fired, or whatever something bad happens to him, he pretty much sits in a bar and drinks to his heart's content, like drinks his heart out. They were trying to do the same thing with the Loud House with Lisa, and it definitely works down to a T, especially with what the character designers did with Lisa, down to her wrinkled face, to her sad expression, to her red eyes. Her red eyes say it all.
I think it was just really emotional. It was just really crazy how they went with that, and I'm like, wow. Well, the other thing too is that I knew that this was going to be a strange. I mean, like it was going to be an interesting episode. Just the fact that Lisa and Lynn, they never really interact with each other, and then it's Lisa who comes in pretty much like being all the smarts and try to win with Lynn's team. So having a moment like this is like, yeah, I mean, you get to see the bad parts of like how the chemistry of these two go. Because, yeah, Braun and Brain doesn't really work with each other. And, of course, which led to Lisa pretty much, like, down in the dumps and stuff like that. Eventually, Lisa would actually learn her lesson by getting back Lynn's friends, Margot, Maddie, and Paula. And soon the team is going to be back to normal. And they actually do win their first game, so I'm pretty happy about that. and what's kind of crazy is that at the end, Lisa's still their coach. She made some bad moves. All she did was trade them back, and then the team is back to normal. So, I don't know. Explain the final scene for you. What was it for you? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I really liked how Lisa resolved things herself. I liked how Lisa returned back Lynn's teammates, because one important lesson that Lisa learned in the episode was that though like analytics and are not what's important when it comes to team, it's the chemistry, it's the relationship, it's caring for each other that really matters in a team. And I really liked that. Honestly, when we first heard of the synopsis, we thought that it was going to be Lynn who was going to learn a lesson where, like, it doesn't take just, bronze, it takes brains to win a game. But actually, this episode pulls a surprising twist, and it's actually Lisa who learns this lesson. And it does show how even the smartest of, Loud House siblings still have lessons to learn of their own as well.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just go with like whatever you both are good at. Eventually, all of them have to be in a compromise, and just the fact that Lisa learns the fact that teammates do care about a team and trading them back and everything like that. Now you get yourself wing again. Now, I don't know if this is going to continue on, but I hope Lisa continues to be their coach, and that it's just going to be like a continuation point. Like, oh, Lisa's still their coach. How awesome is that? Well. The other thing, too, is that Lisa even continues to be a part of Lynn's team. If you remember Cowpie Kid, Lisa was also there to try to support Lynn's team. So is this going to be a thing now where Lisa just continues to support Lynn's team? It'd be pretty cool if that actually still happens. Like maybe Lynn is going to be playing hockey and then Lisa's there just to support her or do some analytics as a lead coach again. Or in another sport, maybe in soccer for Lynn. Who knows?
Yeah, honestly, especially after this episode, I can actually see Lisa help contributing to Lynn's teams like even more after this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that too. All right, so anything else you want to point out in this episode before we move on to our previews?
Yes, I really liked Touchdown Bot. He's by far one of the best robots. Yeah, honestly, I really like. I hope we get to see more of him. And honestly, in terms of the new mascot that Lisa was trying to bring up, like honestly, just keep the rooster, okay? Because we all know that this new mascot is not so great.
Okay, he's not a tiger. He's not the Tony the Tiger like you're trying to put up.
No. We're supposed to be tigers every time. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm pretty serious about this one though, because Lori did appear only like for 1 second in the episode. Why the hell is she even in the episode then? I was like there when I looked at the preview. I'm like, oh great, Lori's actually in the audience, but that's it. But then everybody else is also in the audience too. It's like, yeah, they're just in the audience, not doing anything. And then randomly pops up Lori's there. I'm like, okay, cool. So she's back. Is she back? I have no idea. Yeah,
only for like 5 seconds. Less than 5 seconds, and she doesn't even talk.
No, exactly. She's just there only for like 5 seconds, and she's like, yeah, nothing there. She's only there for like just to support Lynn, and yeah, it makes sense because like she's done that before, where she's only there for like 1 second. Like Lola's birthday, she's also there for Lincoln's play. So yeah, I would say Lori is now being more of a supportive character, but she does actually appear in a special coming up that we're going to be talking about later on. And thank God she's actually talking. She actually has an important role. Hopefully, she has an important role in this in the special.
She literally talks in the episode.
Okay, so how would you rate Friday Night Fights?
I would rate this an 8.5 out of 10. It's a really nice mix of the brawniest Loud with the brainiest Loud. They managed to make the dynamic relationship really work, especially with sports where it relies on both things, like the brawns from the players and the brains from the coach. And I liked, I liked how, they presented Lisa at her most realistically depressed. Like they really know how to nail down a coach who is depressed from either being fired or losing a game or whatnot. They really nailed it down to a T, the sports movie trope, sports movie cliche. My God, those red eyes, man! You can't forget those red eyes. And I like the twist on Lisa learning the episode instead of Lynn.
Yeah, I think that this was actually quite a lot to handle. Actually, just the fact that I was just coming in, just seeing like a Lisa and Lynn episode, and you just think that, oh, Lisa's going to probably screw up the team, which she did. But at the same time, I just never felt that the emotion that Lisa actually brought. I'm like, holy crap, I didn't know that Lisa was actually so depressed. She was so, she was so like this in something like that. Because yeah, there have been some times where like she's been defeated and things like that. I mean, look at the episode Friend or Foe, where Lisa failed her test again because she wanted to break up being friends with Darcy. So you don't see emotion like that at all. You can see like Lisa being panicked, but this was just a surprise, seeing like her failing Lynn's team and Lynn taking, and then of course Lisa taking the brunt of it all, and it just impacts her more compared to what Lynn did. The other thing too is that Lisa never had any emotional, like, you never see her cry a bit. The only time I saw that happen where she actually cried emotionally would be like the Mad Scientist. She cried because she misses her family. You could also put in 11 Loud Sleeper where she cried, but that was like more of a comedic relief compared to something like this being emotionally impacted. So, out of the bloom, I just hope that we can actually see like more of Lisa emotionally than we always seen her like just being a smart know-it-all. So maybe this is a breakthrough for Lisa. Maybe we can see more emotional moments for Lisa upcoming in the next episodes of The Loud House. But to say the least, everybody's gaining character, and I like it so far. So for me, my rating would be like 9 out of 10. It's good. It's a pretty good episode. You never expected to see like a Lynn and Lisa chemistry moment to be so good like this, and you just hope that we get to see more emotionally impacted moments. Maybe like Lisa probably crying on something else, because she can't be just always the know-it-all. I mean, you'll see it all the time in Lisa, but like there's sometimes where Lisa can actually break down, and I really want to see more of that. Like she says she's a failure. She might cry a little bit in the corner. She might, get angry at something like that. Who knows? I mean, I need to see more of that, because like, yeah, Lisa's not my favorite character, but I just hope like things like this can actually up the ranking for her. I mean, up the ranking for me for her.
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to agree, because it would also show how even the snarkiest and smartest and the brainiest of people, like know-it-alls and such, like they can have their vulnerabilities too. They can have their emotional moments as well.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, like this, I think is a break point. Hopefully, we can get to see more Lisa episodes. Anyways, that will be
with Darcy. With Darcy.
Oh, we need more Darcy. Well, she did appear. She said they're at first grade together. So yeah, we will love to see more Darcy Lisa episodes. All right, so that's it pretty much for our reviews. Let's head over to our previews now, and we'll actually start it off with the Friday episodes. We'll start it off with Grub Snub. The episode synopsis here is, let me see here. When Lenny and her friends start hanging out at Gus's, Lincoln and the gang start a turf war. You've seen the preview, you've seen a lot of the clips. So want me to explain your thoughts of how this episode is going to run.
Okay, one thing I have to get out of the way first. They listen to us! Jackie and Maddie are back! Yes! What?
Oh my God.
Jackie and Maddie are back!
Okay.
Oh my God!
So
where have we been?
Okay, so Omid is trying to point out a pot here. Trying to point a point here. We talked about this in the Lenny future episode of LoudCasa Talks, and we were wondering what the heck happened to Jackie and Mandy, and apparently they're here in this episode. So it's been forever. It's been 3 seasons, or no, 2 seasons since we haven't seen her at all. Since Jackie or Mandy came back, but hey, they're back. Continuity is a thing now. They're actually changing it up with continuity.
Oh my God, where have they been?
All right. Anyways, anything else you want to point out in the episode? Your thoughts and all?
Yeah, honestly, I want to see where this goes. Because the thing is that they poured out a good explanation as to why they went to Gus's Games of Grubs in the first place, and that is because the mall was closing, I guess. And the thing is,
their favorite dim sum place actually closed forever.
Their dim sum, their dim sum place. But then again, Like there could be some other restaurant that they could go to, like a fancy restaurant or something. I would not imagine them going to Gus's Games and Grub. It's not really their niche.
Well, the other thing too is that the way that they say that Lenny came into Gus's Gamers and Grub is because Miguel wanted to play like games. And that's the reason why they're pretty much hanging out there. Look, throughout that preview, you saw Miguel pretty much try to play skee ball, and he ended up getting a lot of tickets to win some sort of big prize. And unfortunately, like it's one of the prizes that Lincoln's friend, I think Clyde, was trying to aim for that prize, but unfortunately he couldn't be able to get it. So because Miguel got it. So now it's going to be the same thing all over again, where Lenny's friends try to have fun in an arcade, and Miguel tries to win more prizes. So
Civil War. It's a Civil War.
Look, I feel for like Lenny's friends. Yeah, Lenny's friends would always hang out at this dim sum place, but they're closed forever. So I don't know. They always hang out. They always hang out at the mall, which is the main point of this episode. But look, why not change locations? This is just going to be really interesting how Lenny's friends are going to be cooperating in an arcade.
Yeah, honestly, like I want to see how they do in arcade games in the first place, because I don't imagine them as the gaming type, except maybe Miguel.
Yeah, she's maybe the gaming type as well. But the other thing too is like I can totally see it aggressive side where like Fiona could be aggressive as well. I mean, you've seen Fiona like compete with Miguel. You remember the episode Leader of the Rack, where those two try to compete for like a plushie? So
that's true.
Yes,
that is true too.
I'm gonna say like they're probably Lenny is going to be hanging out with Jackie and Mandy. They're probably going to be playing some sort of game. I can imagine Miguel and Fiona continuing to compete for prizes and things like that. And then of course because of that, it's the reason why Lincoln and his friends are also like being left out. It's like, why are we doing this? And why are they here? They're ruining our fun. And of course, that's what they're going to do with having. That's what Lincoln and his friends are going to do. Just try to get Lenny back into the mall or something like that. And yeah. My other thing too is that I believe the way I'm seeing it, it's like, look, Lincoln, you're being too far. You're pushing Lenny out of here. It's like, I believe they're going to eventually like have both of the parties actually like be okay at Gus's Games and Grub. It would be awesome if they actually did that, but that's what I'm seeing. It feels like, they can have their differences, but at the end, it's going to have those two are going to be like partying up together, having fun at Gus's Games and Grub.
Yeah, honestly, because in terms of Loud House episodes, that's how these endings usually are.
Right. Anything else you want to point out in this episode before we head over to our next one?
Yes, it's Loud House Civil War. Are you Team Lincoln or Team Lenny? Pick one. Pick one.
I mean, I gotta go for Team Lincoln, obviously. Another thing too is that apparently Stella has this hoodie, and I'm pretty happy about that. And now it makes me think
hoodie Stella.
No. It makes me think that where'd you get that hoodie? Did Nikki give it to you? It's like a headcanon it's a headcanon that I have right now. It's like, are you trying to impress Lincoln? That's the reason why you called Nikki over and said like, hey, can you bring your hoodie so that I can actually impress Lincoln?
Yeah, because Nikki is the shipping type.
Well, Nikki's actually that's the same color as Nikki's hoodie. So I was thinking like maybe that might be why.
No, but when you do think about it, from Home Improvement, we've seen like how Nikki's shipping side goes wild, and it'd be funny if like Stella hits up Nikki and says, "Can I borrow your hoodie? I'm trying to impress a boy," and then she's like, "Oh my god, she's trying to impress a boy. What's his name?" And then she's like, Lincoln, I know, she's right. Okay.
Another thing too, they'll also point out, right? Paul Scheer, he's also going to be voicing in this episode. I think Nick A Live was actually pointing that out. He's
Chip
actually pretty
Whistler.
famous. Yeah, he's Chip Whistler. I'm like, wow, okay, Mr. Chip Whistler, you're going to be evil and try to take care of
Oh,
man. Okay.
Another evil businessman in a cartoon.
I didn't expect Gus to be so evil too.
It's like, wow. Gus Whistler,
yeah. All right, so let's head over to our next episode called She's All Bat. And the synopsis here says, let's look. Lucy gets jealous of Lola's newfound attention after she joins the Morticians Club. Okay, so that's quite of a lot to actually put in there. And plus from the things that we've seen, I actually haven't seen a lot of previews or pictures about She's All Bat. So coming into this episode, I'm kind of fresh on it. So Omi, have you seen some pictures? Have you like seen some previews that you want to like share your thoughts on like how She's All Bad it's going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, to be fair, I was a bit fresh on Grub Snub. I haven't seen much of Grub Snub, so I'm going into this fresh too. The thing with She's All Bad is I have to say this. Now, I mentioned before how it's out of place for Lenny to be in Gus's Games of Grub about things. This is even more out of place for Lola to be the freaking Morticians Club.
I know.
Mean, what made Lola so interested in dark stuff in the first place? She loves pink. She doesn't like black. She likes pink, for loud's sake. I mean, what's her motivation? What's her real motivation?
Although this kind of reminds me of like T-Tail Heart, where like Lola really likes a doll from Lucy. It's like more of like Lucy and Lola interacting, and you know we're seeing more of it, like sisters interacting that you never seen before, like we did with Lisa and Lynn in Friday Night Fights. Now we have Lola and Lucy actually interacting in this one. So I'm pretty strange. I'm pretty interested like it on this. I'm like, we're coming in where we get to see just a pretty pink girl getting into goth stuff, and of course Lucy getting jealous the fact that I guess she's getting all the fame. Lola's getting more of the fame than Lucy, and of cour's the president of the Morticians Club. So I don't know.
Co-president with
Haiku, but to say the least, like Lucy's not liking it. Lola is taking all the attention. She might even become president eventually. Who knows?
Oh God.
I don't know. This is just going to be very interesting. Like how a pink girl like Lola going into a dark Morticians Club and having the Morticians Club actually liking her. I don't know. Maybe they're giving him more. Maybe Lola's like giving them more fashion sense, and maybe she's getting more into goth. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, honestly, for me, like I said, I don't know what made Lola so interested to join Morticians Club in the first place, or even thought of doing it. But I'm sure they'll give a good reason, I guess. But in terms of this episode, in terms of a Lucy-Lola dynamic, I feel that this is going to be sort of T-Tail Heart, but the roles reversed. Whereas in T-Tail Heart, it was Lola doing something bad or selfish. She tries to make it up to Lucy. Here, it's going to be the other way around, in which the jealousy will get to Lucy so much that she will end up doing something drastic to Lola, whatever it may be, and then she'll end up feeling bad at the end and apologizing. Like, yeah, I like to think of it as a reverse T-Tail Heart.
I'm gonna be so surprised about Lucy actually like getting like trying to do something to get Lola out of the Morticians Club. I would imagine like it's kind of something like Phantom Pains, for example, where Lucy tried to get like, you know, Lori and Lenny out of Vampires of Melancholia. So it's probably going to be something like that, where like Lucy tried to like gross out Lola from the Morticians Club. Like they're going to be doing this, they're going to be doing that, and of course Lola gets grossed out, that she gets kicked out. But then the Morticians Club will be like, wait, what happened to Lola? We loved her, we liked her. Why did you take her away, Lucy? And then of course Lucy has to like go back and get Lola and then apologize, and then Lola would become part of the crew. And the other thing too is I think Lola and Lucy are going to interact more. The other thing too is that I'm so happy that they actually are making Lola actually, you know, interact with like higher graders. Just the fact that, you know, yeah, she's 7, she's like in elementary, and she's like she's about to be joining a Mortician Club that's just kind of full of 6th graders, I believe. Either way, it just tells you like, yeah, they're welcoming for new members, even pink or not. So maybe the Morticians Club is going to be having more growth. And you get to see more of like Lucy's Morticians Club, because I believe that's like Lucy's squad there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see Lola interact with like Boris, Haiku, all that stuff. Like, it really does goes to show how much social skills that Lola has. Like, her social skills, you know, are like, you know, really high from what we've seen from Community to Service. Also, like from Community to Service, we've seen how social and popular she is.
Mm-hmm. Right. I just can't wait to see like how they're going to gothify Lola. From the way I'm seeing it from the title card, it seems that Lola is actually already gothified itself. I'm like, ooh, she's pretty nice, actually. Because she's already fitting in. She's already fitting in.
Oh my God, I want to see this goth punk Lincoln with goth Lola. Like,
and everybody gotta go goth. I mean, like, yeah, Lucy's goth, but is everybody just gonna have their own goth punk look or something like that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm wondering who's next. Okay, let me see. Well, there was a time where Luann dressed in Lucy's clothes for a brief amount of time in Cover Girls, one of my favorite season 1 episodes. That was only for 3 seconds.
I see. Yeah, I haven't really said much about that, but yeah, like I said, there's quite a lot to talk. There's quite a lot to get through this, but I'm expecting a pretty good episode from it. I think this is one I'm actually most excited for. Yeah, Grub Snub is actually going to be pretty good too. Just because it's a Lisa versus Lola, a Lenny versus Lincoln episode. But I believe this is going to be a good chemistry, like bonding moment for Lola and Lucy, because you never expect to see like a pretty pink princess dealing with a gothic dark sister like Lucy. And yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
In terms of She's All Bad, I want to see how it's executed. Like, honestly, with She's All Bad, it's going to be hit or miss. Like, as long as they give a good explanation as to why Lola wants to join the Petitions Club in the first place, and like, you know, it's all going to depend on what Lucy's going to do, what her actions are going to be, what she's going to do in terms of her jealousy.
I hope Lucy doesn't get too bad on Lola. Just hope that you don't like hate her forever because of what she did to Lola.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, right?
We'll see.
We'll let you know that what was it? Grub Snub and She's All Bad will be coming out tomorrow at 7:00. I don't know why they don't put a commercial for it, but it is on the schedule that it is going to be coming out tomorrow at 7 on Nickelodeon. And yeah, Nickelodeon is not really promoting any promotions about it, so I'm kind of like, are we just really pushing the 2 specials coming out on Monday? I guess that's how it is, huh?
Could be.
Now let's actually talk about those specials and actually start off with the Loud House special that is going to be coming up at 1:00 on Memorial Day. It's called Camped.
Camped?
Yeah. So I don't have the synopsis here. Anyways, so about Camped, pretty much it's a family hangout in Lynn Senior's old campgrounds. But the thing is that the campgrounds is, I think, about to be closed. So what happened was that Lincoln actually found a treasure map, and then they're pretty much on a treasure hunt throughout the whole episode. From the sneak peeks, from the gifts, from everything, pretty much. I know there's a YouTube video that dropped about the sneak peek of Camped. What are your thoughts on how this episode is going to be?
I've only seen some parts of the Camped preview. Like, I've seen the first part in which like Lori is lying by the pier with, you know, her bikini, like she's lying down.
So it's kind of like the beach episode. It's a beach episode. I knew it.
Yeah, it's like she's in the beach or something. And of course you got Lynn shouting, "Can Lynn ball?" And then she kind of like jumps, like splashing Lenny and Lori. It's pretty hilarious. And then you got Lincoln saying, "Hey, everyone, I found a treasure. And once we find the treasure, once we get rich, we're going to save Flint Senior's camp." And so they go for the treasure hunt, obviously. I feel this is going to be a very fun treasure hunting episode. Well, treasure hunting and camping episode. Like, it's sort of giving me Gravity Falls vibes, because that series had some sort of like sense of, you know, mystery, treasure, fortune hunting, and camping in the wilderness itself too.
I feel like it's going to be something like that. I looked throughout the whole preview, and it looks like it is going to be such a mysterious treasure hunt, because literally they were pretty much going through the woods, going through caves, going underneath caves, you know, pretty much unlocking puzzles from that treasure map. So it feels like they really are going to find some sort of treasure in this episode, and I really think that this is going to be fun, I believe. So yeah, we get to see Lori again. By the way, I'm a huge fan, obviously, for Lori, and the fact that she's talking and that she's actually helping, it just makes me so happy that she's actually back. Now,
Lori!
Now I'm kind of confused too. I'm like, did Lori come back for the summer, or is Lori actually back in the Loud House? It's like, yeah, forget Fairway University. You're back in the Loud House. You're going to be probably doing more episodes of Loud House now.
No. I'm going to say it's the former. It's definitely her summer break.
Yeah, it's definitely summer. Obviously, it's going to be summer break for her. Huh?
Also, Lori, it's literally nice to hear from you again.
I know.
Literally
I'm just so happy. Like, okay, I know that the episode's going to start at their house. They're going to probably like say, "Hey, we got our summer vacation all set up. Going to this summer camp of our dad." And of course, our dad's summer camp's about to close down. So obviously, they want to do this for one last time. But they also noticed that there's treasure, so that's why they went on this treasure hunt. Then pretty much it just ends there. So yeah, we're gonna be coming into this special with a lot of mystery. We just hope that there's going to be like a lot of like this mystery, like Gravity Falls, to say. That's a good point that you actually put up there.
Yeah,
now,
definitely, man.
What I kind of hate though is that we actually do have Flip in this episode. Oh, you have Flip again. Sorry, I gotta point out the bad thing about this episode. But okay,
well,
so
he's always
a
delight.
Look. I don't know if he look. In the preview, it's just like, yeah, Lori found a Yeti or some sort of Bigfoot person. People are thinking that it is Flip. What if it actually is that Bigfoot person? I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, Flip. Always a delight, isn't he?
It's so weird. He comes into the camp and he's just like, wow, you're going to find treasure with the Louds now.
Yeah, honestly, why do I even bother?
Look, he's pretty much the Loud House favorite. That's the reason why he's always appearing in every episode now.
Favorited by no one. Like, who in the right mind would consider Flip of all characters a favorite? No. The show's oversaturated way too much, man.
Well, he's going to be in the episode. Well, then again, they also have oversaturated Carl in like many Casagrades episodes.
No, but at least Carl is actually likable. At least Carl's actually legitimately fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. I to say the least, like, I can't wait to see how this episode goes out. It feels like it's going to be a mystery episode, with all the hijinks of what the Louds always do. It just gets me excited about, adventure episodes, like probably the Loud House movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's going to be like Camped is going to be the appetizer, and the Loud House movie is going to be the main course. When you do think about it.
I just hope, we can't wait for that for sure. That too as well. All right. Well, I mean, anything else you want to bring up in Camp before we move over to our next special?
Nothing much I want to say. Honestly, I'm very excited for this episode. It's literally nice to hear from Lori again, like I said. Can't wait for the treasure hunting and wilderness aspect. It's going to remind me so much of Gravity Falls. And I would say, as a huge, huge fan of Gravity Falls, it's something I could appreciate. And also, please, no more Flip.
Unfortunately, he's probably going to be... No, what'll be funny is that actually, like, Flip finds the treasure and then he gets trapped in, like, the tomb or something while the Louds actually run away with the treasure. That Flip is gone forever.
Good.
No, and then in the end,
we all want that.
And then in the end, they find a way to actually bring Flip out of the tomb.
I'm like, no, leave him in the tomb forever.
We'll see how it goes. It kind of makes me feel like there's like a mummy, like the Mummy, for example. It kind of feels like that. All right, let's move over. Let's move over to our last special that will be coming out on Monday as well. It's called Zoomergency. This one is going to be pretty interesting because it is what is it? The Changs trying to save a zoo. I believe the zoo is about to close down, and what the Changs are going to do is just try to raise enough money from the preview. It feels like it's going to be like more of a fundraiser for them to just try to save the zoo from like closing down in Great Lake City. I don't know. I don't have the synopsis with me. Anyways, from what you've seen from the previews, from the GIFs, from pretty much everything in this episode so far, explain your thoughts on what you think this episode is going to be about.
Okay, let me just say this. We got our first Sid-centered episode, baby. What's up? Let's go, baby. Woo! Let's rejoice. Sid episode. And it's not 15 minutes. It's 30 minutes. A full-length Sid episode. Hell yeah, let's go, baby. Yeah, honestly, we've been begging for a Sid episode for months, for many months, and we finally got it. Yes. Anyway, in terms of this episode, I think what's going to happen is that, Sid's obviously going to do what she can to save the zoo because, not only because it's her mom's job, but also she really does legit love the zoo. She loves the animals and all that stuff. And, of course, she's really eager to help, but unfortunately, Sid's mom ends up giving her how do I put it? Kind of lame jobs in a sense, like greeting people. And I'm like, no, Sid's much more meant for something. Okay, she's a junior zookeeper.
That all? Yeah, all you gotta say? I think there's a lot to talk about in this one.
And let me just say this: I'm gonna get to there. Ronnie Ann and Sid are in a dress. That's another thing too. Ronnie Ann and Sid in a dress.
Well, I imagine like they're trying to do a fundraiser thing, and you know what though? I mean, like, yeah, this is a Sid focused episode where Sid is absolutely the focus in this episode to actually like try to raise money or do something to save the zoo. But it's also the Changs as well. Like, you get to see more of Stanley, you get to see more of Becca, you get to see more of Adelaide and Sid. I don't know what happened. I saw a GIF, by the way, of Adelaide crying in a closet, and I'm like, what happened? What happened? Why didn't you make Adelaide cry? What happened?
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Who hurt her? Exactly. I think it was the breaking news where they were about to not have a zoo. And you know what? From the synopsis, from how the episode is pretty much all looking like so far, it seems that the Changs are doing their best to save the zoo. And Sid is trying to I don't know what. She's been doing a lot of quirky stuff to lure in people or try to do something to at least save the zoo. I think it's like an episode where I think it's something where Sid has to do something instead of doing something silly to actually save the zoo.
Yeah, and I really love her spirit, her wild and free spirit also, because you see Sid at her most enthusiastic when she tries to help out in the zoo, down to the point of making animal noises like hippos and monkeys.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, oh no, this Sid, you're trying to scare away your people that wanted to actually help you.
Not intentionally, but she's doing her best.
But she's doing her best. Exactly. That's what makes her cute and lovable. I gotta say, this is going to be quite an interesting ride. The thing is that this is more focused on the Changs than the Casagrandes, but the Casagrandes are there to also support. You get to see Ronnie Ann and you get to see Sid pretty much most of the episode trying to lead things. It's kind of like what is it? Absent Minded, where Clyde was the one who pretty much ran the episode and Lincoln was there just to help him out. I think this is going to be the same kind of concept here in Zoomergency, where Sid needs a lot of help. Well, Sid needs a lot of help, and Ronnie Ann is going to be there to help her out, have the family come in to do something to help support with food or things like that. But yeah, I believe this is more of a rescue thing. I could see a lot of antics happening around this episode. But I'm pretty sure at the end they're going to save the zoo. But I believe it's something big that Sid is going to do in the episode anyway. So yeah, first ever Sid focused episode. This is absolutely about her. I can't believe it. We're actually going to finally have a Sid focused episode. She's going to have her own special. And obviously this makes us love Sid even more. She's going to have her own episode, and hopefully she actually saves the zoo in the end.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Hallelujah, our prayers are answered. Anyway, yeah. Honestly, I feel this is going to be even better than Absent Minded, not just in terms of its length, but also by its quality.
Oh yeah, I think you have 30 minutes long, so you have a lot that you can actually put in 30 minutes to put the point out and actually make a good episode out of it. So yeah, Can't wait for it. These two specials are going to be coming out on Monday, Memorial Day. But yeah, I got nothing much to say about these specials. Do you have anything else to say?
Nothing much I want to say. I'm very much looking forward to both these specials, especially Zoomergency, in my opinion.
Just because I can't wait for that too.
A 30-minute Sid focused episode. You can't get any better than that.
From the way I see it, I feel like this Sid episode is going to be really the focus of this weekend, just because we've never seen a Casa Grande specials like that, and the LoudHouse has a good special as well. I mean, from the excitement factor of these two specials, I believe the Casa Grande's one is going to be the most hyped one right here. So yeah, I can't wait for Monday, and I can't wait to see how these specials go.
Yeah, because when you think about it, Zoomergency itself has made history because of what I just said about it being a first Sid episode and it being a 30-minute episode, nonetheless, making it even better.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that was pretty much it for our mini episode of the LoudCasa Talks as we review and preview the latest episodes of Loud House and the Casa Grandes. Remember to listen to our LoudCasa Talks whenever you have wherever podcasts are available. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And you also can check out our YouTube channel where we always do our recordings here on YouTube. All you gotta do is head over to our YouTube channel, fan page of the Loud House and the Casa Grandes. Subscribe and subscribe and hit the bell button so you can be notified of when it will be coming up and when we're going to have our next episode. Our next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to continue. We're going to be going to be next week actually, where we're going to be reviewing the specials and the new episodes of the Loud House on Friday. And I think next week also is where the new Casa Grandes will come in, so we're actually going to preview those as well. And then on that Sunday, and then not this Sunday because it's Memorial Day weekend. The next Sunday we're going to be continuing on our Loud House future episodes where we actually talk about Luann's future. So get ready for that. And we still haven't picked our date for the Amphibia True Colors review yet. So we're still trying to figure out a date we can actually go ahead and actually review it. So we'll be behind the scenes wondering what we can do for that. Anyway, so those are coming up. So hopefully you guys are psyched for that, and hopefully you guys watched it.
Yeah, thank you all so much for watching, guys. Your support means a lot to us.
All right, and that's pretty much it for us here. My name is Nate,
and this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching, and please have a fun Memorial weekend. Enjoy your Mondays off, whatever you'll be doing. And until next time, smell you later, dudes.